Yo, this is B to the Izzo, and this is the We Ball Foundation Podcast Center. And we going all the way up, man. We got a special guest, Shawon Faltz, man. And we about to do this thing. So stay tuned. We about to do it. Let's go. Yo, we got Shawon in the building. Yo, we got Shawon in the building. Yo,
Hey, y'all.
there you go,
What
my
up?
man.
What up?
So look, man. I want to introduce you, man, because you done some crazy stuff, man, and you did it in kind of a short period of time, man. I'm wondering about it, man. I'm gonna run down the list for you, man. You got associate's degree in social science. You got a bachelor's degree in business administration and sports and rec. You got a master's degree in informational tech, man. You joined the National Society of Leadership and Success, man, and you had a 4.0 in Dean's list. You made the Dean's list in the master's program. And you attended the Western Salem, which is a D2 college, man. Man, big shots out for that, man. You already know what it is, man. So yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about that, man. Like how you get all that done, brother?
A lot of time. A lot of time in that joint. I would say probably a 10-year span of doing all that. And
10
it
years.
like, yeah, definitely. Probably 10 years. 10 years of doing all that. And it was a lot of gaps in between that joint. But I mean, like in all, about 10 years. I mean, it's a lot if you stay consistent with it, but that's life, right?
Man, I'm trying to tell you, like that's almost like Superman-ish, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, man, like you got a master's degree, and look, and on top of that, hey, look, you're a father now, right?
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, man. Big shots
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Big shots.
My daughter
You in the
3.
club, baby. You in the club. You in the
A
club.
3-year-old.
Man, so would you already got plans for her on the basketball court?
Yeah. We doing a little. She a little slow getting it, but I gotta let a kid be a kid. So
Yeah, man. So I got a question real quick. So I think you know, what do you think about what do you think are some of the struggles these kids face now versus how you was coming up?
um man, I don't know if it's really struggles that they facing now. I would say they're more easily distracted.
Right.
So not so much that they struggling, it's just easy to get distracted because when I was coming up, we didn't have the social medias. The music industry, like, yeah, it was like we used to watch 106 in Park music videos.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like the music industry now is just like you can stream that, you can stream it off anything, you can be on your phone with it
Right.
and stuff, and it's easy for them to get influenced by what's going on there and get distracted, but what's in front of them,
Right.
if you understand what I'm saying. So I think it's more so like back when I was coming up, we had YouTube, MySpace, but it wasn't like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't accessible
Yeah.
like it is now. So
And but just want to add on, like, man, the crazy stuff that you see on YouTube now, you wouldn't be able to see that back in the days. Like,
no,
you know what I'm saying? If you even talk about like some of the comics that's out there, like what the comics were saying then, you cannot say that right
nah,
now. You
you
can't say
can't.
that. You can't say that right now.
Uh,
So, just to go, just to pull back a little bit, and like what were some of the obstacles that you had to face, man, and to obtain? Because I know talking with you briefly before, like, you had some, you had some run-ins, and but you kept going, you persevered through. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
So one, as I got older, when I was younger, it didn't like I didn't think of it as too much. like it didn't phase me as much because I had so many peers around me that were had the same circumstance, and that would be like we didn't have a father present.
Mhm.
And when we were coming up, that wasn't a big deal because we had each other as boys. You know what I'm saying? If we young boys, we can just hang out together and just do what boys do. And no disrespect to single mothers out there, but what I've also learned to understand is that it's just some things that a woman can't teach their son. So for us, it was a group of us and we was just doing
Yeah, yeah,
what we do.
yeah. And see, it's a lot of man. I hear it and I see it all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of cringe when I hear it. You know what I'm saying? And but I choose not to say anything. But when a female said like he don't need his daddy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's you know what I mean? I want to say I want to chop it up to toxic thinking. You know what I'm saying? Or a little bit of arrogance is, or a little hatred in there towards the father. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's something that's in there for for that to be happening. But
Yeah.
I cringe when I hear that because I definitely needed my father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, he won't that. So I know, you know what I mean, it could have turned out a little bit better. You know what I'm
Yeah. Like,
saying?
yeah. On good terms or not,
Yeah.
together or not, I'm a strong believer that a child needs both of their parents.
And that's a fact, man. Big shouts out to that, man. Hey man, so like was there, I mean, I like even for myself, like I had like I always wanted to be like when I read down your list, when I looked at your list, man, all the accomplishments that you had, and I'm like, yo, like, cause I was sort of something of a big deal when I came up, right? I came into Lafayette. I couldn't even play for the whole full 4 years because prior I got into a lot of trouble at my middle school. I got expelled. Then I ended up going to juvenile detention that summer and came back. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't even play my first year. But I put in time and put in work, you know what I'm saying? And then, and everything else was a wrap once I made the team, 3 MVPs, McDonald's All American. We know about that. But I wanted to be baby like your accomplishments, man, bro. It's like, yo, that's what you know what I'm saying. But I had a lot of distractions. So your accomplishments is something that these young kids need to hear because I'm pretty sure that you went through your share of, you know what I'm saying, your share of your run-ins, but you still persevered through it. You know what I mean? And I wish I could have had like to add that to my resume. You know what I'm saying? To add that to my resume. But how you feel up and to give us a little, you know what I'm saying, a little.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. So like my journey wasn't like the perfect journey, like getting all the way to the master's degree and stuff like that. It's just that was all just like me working hard towards that. So coming up, I wanted to be somebody, whether that be sports or whatever it was. I wanted to be somebody, like I wanted to be that guy,
Right.
that cool guy or whatever. So I grew up, well, just to start somewhere, let's start in Williamsburg because I haven't always lived in Williamsburg, but
Well, where you originally from? Where you was originally from?
we lived everywhere, man. Like Middlesex, Wakefield, Baltimore, Jersey, like we scattered. So as far as I can remember, like Burnt Ordinary down in Toano,
Yeah.
is when I felt like established and you know what I'm saying, I got a home and I'm not going nowhere for a while. So out there, I was introduced to NBL.
Yeah, that's how that was NBA. That was what's his name, man? It's gonna come to me, man. Who was running that?
Back then, I don't know. That was I was only about 10 years old.
Brother J was running it. Brother J had it. Yeah, Brother J. He doing some ministry down. I forgot where he was at, but he doing ministry now. He got his church down. I cannot remember where it was, but big shouts out to Brother J because Brother J, when he started the NBL, you know what I'm saying. I had my nephews. They was my little cousins. They was in it, so I was coming up. You know what I'm saying, doing my thing. You know what I'm saying. So I always had when I was in high school, I had a crew that I trained that was coming up next behind me. You know what I'm saying? So, but Brother Jay was definitely involved with them. You know what I'm saying? They had the NBL. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and that was probably NBL before you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was before me.
Yeah, yeah.
That I wasn't playing, but so back in like those kind of communities, Burt Ordinary, I think New Hope, Lafayette Square, maybe Grove, they would have these community centers where the kids would go to, and we would do stuff as a community for the kids and parents and stuff. And at this particular time, they're introduced the kids to NBL.
Right.
I was there because I had an older brother, and he played, and I'm like, that's an organized sport where people can watch me,
Yeah, yeah.
and I can be somebody. So I was 9, so I didn't get to play. You have to be 10 or whatever.
Right.
So I waited my year. I got in there. I finally got to play, and I was terrible. I was terrible after that first year, 10 years old. And I decided I was terrible and I didn't play. And we made it to the championship.
Mhm.
I didn't play at all. So I cried. I cried and we lost. I was like, I don't know if I was upset that we lost or I was upset that we cried. I mean that we that I didn't play. My bad. But it ain't matter. That was like a whole turning point. So at this time I'm able to go to middle school and I'm thinking like, all right, I'm gonna work out for this whole year.
Yeah, yeah.
And in Toano back then, I'm almost certain we didn't have no basketball rims around. None.
In Toano?
In Toano.
I don't even remember. They probably don't even have none out there right
I don't
now.
think they got nothing out there now. But back then we didn't have any. So I used to walk to Toano Trace. And for like a summer, yeah, probably like spring, summer, because when it's cold, I wasn't going outside. Somebody had it sounded like the Damian Lillard story, but somebody had put a milk carton on the tree.
Oh yeah.
Somebody had put
Oh,
a
yo,
milk
we had
carton on
those.
the tree out there because it was nothing but the blacktop
Yeah, yeah.
that they had out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And we used to go out there and just shoot on the joint on the milk carton. And then my uncle who lived in Toano Trace, he had got a basketball rim. And I end up just going over there. And that was for a year straight. So when I turned 11, I'm in middle school. It was me and my boy Randall. Shout out to Randall. They was comparing us to Shaq and Kobe then. We used to kill. We used to run. We used to run that joint, kill that joint. And yeah, I'm in middle school now, so now I'm taking it a little bit more serious.
And so what age was this? What age was
I
this?
was like 12, 13. I'm taking it more serious because when I got, and then this is how old I am. I was one of the first kids that was on the 7th grade basketball team that they had.
Mhm.
And I guess that was the first JV season that they had. We only played 4 teams: Peasley, Berkeley, it was us, Toano, and then there was another school out there. I can't think of it, but it was only 4 teams at the time. But I'm like, all right,
Was it James Blair?
It wasn't James Blair at the time. It was another school out across the water in the country. So it was one of those schools. But yeah, man. So I started taking it a little bit more serious, and I'm like, this is my first game. I'm dropping like 14, 15 points. I mean, that's a lot for a kid back then. And you knew you was gonna be somebody. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm hearing my name on the announcement and stuff. So that stuff carried over to 8th grade. 8th grade, I'm killing. And I'm like, all right, bet. When I go to high school, I'm gonna be that dude.
Right.
Or whatever. Like I can continue this joint.
So when did you start to notice, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I hear a little bit of it early on, but when you got to high school, was it then when you knew that you had something?
No. High school, I actually got cut in 9th grade.
Okay.
But
I know the feeling.
I
got cut.
that was a strange little part of my life in 9th grade because I knew I was good, but when I went to tryouts, I seen how many people there was. Not to say I was discouraged, but I gave like no effort in the tryout.
Right,
like
right.
zero. I probably wouldn't even look my way if I was like, but I was just too cool.
Yeah.
At the time.
So how you handle that, man? How you come back from that? How you come back from that? Because it's kids out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So all right, so it was like, all right. At first, I was like, all right, bro, I got cut. I don't care. But as I sat there and dawned on it and looked who was on that team, I'm like, I'm better than half these cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, These are the
Man.
same guys in the neighborhood I would give 15, 20 points to. And I'm just like, nah, I'm better than that. So that's where it got rocky. So like I kind of like put basketball on the back burner at that time. So I'm like 14 and put basketball on the back burner. I didn't make the team. It was like, whatever, cool.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go hang out with these guys.
Mhm.
And that's what I started doing. So I separated myself from education,
Mhm.
basketball, and whatever. And I started going out there, fighting, breaking the law as a juvenile.
Mhm. Yeah, man, we go through that, man.
Yeah. I mean that's life. So I end up after I got cut, I end up going to be completely transparent. I end up going to the juvenile center for assault on a police officer
Mhm.
at 14. It wasn't as crazy back
Right,
then.
right, right,
It
right.
was like, all right, this kid just doesn't have any guidance.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of slap him on the wrist
Yeah.
and
Did,
see what happens to him next.
yeah. Did that ever hinder you in the future?
Not really, no, because I was only 14, so not really. Um, it was later down the road, so I mean I can get to that next,
Yeah.
but
You
it
will
was
get to
later
that. Yeah.
down the road.
Yeah.
So now I'm like 15, and I'm like I'm still doing NBL because NBL is still popular
Yeah.
when I'm 15. So it's like I'm still doing NBL, and I had this. This is the first time I ever got scouted for anything. There was this coach from was it CCBC? Y'all remember that? It was an AAU team that was out here. CCBC.
I think I did. I think I know a
It
little
was like
something about it.
Colonial Capitals.
Colonial Capital.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Colonial
it.
Capitals. That's what it
Colonial
was.
Capital.
So this guy, he was like, "Yo, I want you to play on my team. Like, yeah, you're really good." And it was me and this other kid, Stephon Walker, who went to War Hill at the time. He was nice. He was like 6'3", 6'4". He was nice. He was like a big name in the league. And they tried to get me there, but at this time I got kicked out of school.
Yeah.
And I'm not allowed on the property, so I can't practice.
Yeah.
Probably back then I wouldn't have got caught because it was at a different place, but my mom wasn't chancing it.
Yeah, man. I know that all too well. Yeah.
So I mean, in the midst of doing that, I spent that summer in like 15, turning 16, and back in the juvenile detention center. And there was this one cat in there, Mr. P. And we used to have these talks all the time. And he was like, "What you gonna do when you get out of here?" And I was like, "Man, I'm gonna get on the honor roll and I'm gonna just play basketball."
There you go. Hey man, y'all kids, I hear that, man. I'm just like, yo, you got to be determined to do better, man. You know what I'm saying, to get it right. Because sometimes you'll make a few mistakes, but you got to pick yourself back up. You got to get yourself back on the right track, and that's what I'm hearing from you, brother.
Right. Yeah. So like we had a talk and he was like, "Man, if you keep doing yada yada," because it was cats I was in there with that they were 17. So on their 18th birthday, they didn't go home.
Mhm.
They went across the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, damn, nah, that ain't it. That ain't the way. So I'm just like, I told him. So I go back. I end up being back in high school or whatever, being back on the real world. End up doing everything I told Pete I was gonna do. I got back into basketball. I got to travel with the team. That was the first time I got to travel with the team at 16, but I couldn't play.
So that was dope though, because
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
feel your
yeah.
energy.
I got to see
Yeah.
like it was almost like when you can go to college, you got to be a red shirt. You get to see, you got to see everything. So it was like I got to be at the practices. I got to watch the games or whatever. I got to ride with the team.
Made you hungry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was definitely hungry because I'm like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at the competition. I'm like, man, I could easily just go out there and get a quick 15. Like I'm not even shooting high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not saying I'm amazing, but I'm like, bro, I can really help this team. Like I'm a killer. I know I would kill these cats. I know I would kill these cats. But I spent that whole year working out, playing basketball, and then everything just started falling in. And I was still on the honor roll. I was an honor roll student or whatever for my junior year. So everything started falling into place senior year. That first game, my very first game, we played against Denby, 22 piece. So I'm like, we lost, but we played a PD team. So I'm thinking, all right, bet. I know I'm gonna go kill.
Yeah.
My first game,
that's all it
with
took.
stats.
That's all it took.
Yeah,
that's all it took.
22 points. I'm like, yeah, nah. I'm gonna run through the league.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run through the league.
Sometimes it takes. It's like that's all it takes. Like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I'm about to go crush this. It was like, man, it's like even for me, man, it was just like, man, when we played like when we was back in the days, man, we played like Iverson and Rutland. Then Iverson went to his little thing, but Rutland, like a lot of people don't know about this cat.
Right.
He was like that. He went to Wake Forest and played with Duncan, but he blew both his knees.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, he was just as better. You know what I'm saying? And he's a sharpshooter, shooter from anywhere. But yeah, I digress. Go ahead, continue, bro.
Yeah. So like, yeah, at that time, I knew I was gonna kill the league. It was just that I was thinking small minded, but it was a big deal to me. So what I mean by that was, I would see my peers in the newspaper for doing what they do. And one of the guys I mainly chased behind, he's a very good friend of mine, was Denard Dickens, who went to War Hill. And I was seeing what he was doing. I was like, man, yeah, this is really killing. Like, this might be one of the best players I've seen. But I'm thinking, like, I'm not supposed to be under that. I'm supposed to be above that. I'm supposed to be greater than that. Because, like, without a doubt, he was definitely the best player out here at the time. Very quiet guy. Almost, his mannerisms reminded me of Derrick Rose. Didn't really say nothing.
Where you went to? What school?
He went to War Hill.
What's his name?
Denard Dickens. He started at Lafayette, went to War Hill. I mean, the kid was crazy to me. But like, I had like my it was small minded, but if I knew could be the best in Williamsburg, then I would go somewhere. So like, I didn't really see much of anything else, but if I knew I could be the best, and then when the time presented itself, I could show that I could have shown that I was the best. So all that went on. Like, I ended up being a top 5 scorer in the league.
Big shouts out.
A lot of first team nominations, second team stuff. I had a pretty good senior year, and Coach Jones, I ran track for him.
Melvin Jones.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. Big shouts out to Melvin Jones, man. Hey, look, man. I think everybody in Winsburg know about Melvin Jones. You already know Coach Jones, man. I had him too, man. On the first year when I got home from detention center, my freshman year. Like, I couldn't play, right? So because my grades were so messed up, right? So they guess what they put me in. And they put me right there with Coach Jones. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. But he did, man. Oh, man, like, again, big shots out there. Like, yo, the dude, he's that, man. He's that. He's that. I give it to him, man. That's why I always want to, you know what I'm saying? When I hear his name, I shout him out. But shout out to Coach, man.
So he was my coach for track my senior year. I went pretty far there too. Made it to regionals. And after the season, I started working with him. He used to do this little summer job thing. And he was like, "What you gonna do?" I was like, "Man, I'm just gonna go to Thomas Nelson and,
right,
do my 2 years and go somewhere else." And like, I knew I wanted to go to school. Right. I knew I wanted to do something that my parents didn't do.
Right.
And he was like, "Thomas Nelson? Nah. I'm gonna put you in St. Paul." So it's so funny. He called the football coach. I never played football in my life.
Hey, yo, he did it. I'm trying to tell you, he did it with me, bro. So look, just not to get but he made sure that, don't get it twisted. Like, you know what I mean? He wants you to get the education. So he kind of almost did the same thing to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was before you. Right. So like, you had Quincy Blake, and you had what's the other cat? They all went to Montgomery Junior College, right? So you know what I'm saying? Look, my coaches, my whole senior year was so jacked up. I mean, not me playing wise, but coaching wise. You know what I'm saying? And that whole thing, and we'll talk about that. But that whole thing was jacked up. But he made sure, because the coaches, they didn't put my name in the ballot to do the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So all the other coaches was calling around like, why his name ain't in the ballot?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was literally coaches calling me like, why your coach didn't put your name in the ballot? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't even play in the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know what I mean? So, but he made it to the point to where, like, okay, where he got his football players going to Montgomery. When they go up there, I'm gonna go up there and go see the basketball coach. Man, for real. This is no lie. I'm not capping about this. I'm going up there, and it's all about football. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to meet the basketball coach off the wing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but he wants you, to, you know what I'm saying, to get your education. He want to try to, you know what I'm saying? He wants you to do that. So regardless of if he wasn't getting a look or something like that. But if he got connections to where he can get you in somewhere, and then you gotta grind your way out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, Coach Jones is like, he sent me up there to I never played football, like I said, never played football in my life, not organized football. So
Right.
I mean, I always played in the neighborhood, but football. So he sent me up there to St. Paul to meet the football coach. And he was like, "Hey man, you ever play football before?" I'm like, "Nah." He was like, "Well, Coach Jones gonna vouch for you."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'll play basketball." He was like, "All right, cool. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have you for the football season. Now come over here." So I was like, "All right, I'm about to play football. All right, whatever."
Yeah.
So the football coach was like, "Yo," he introduced me to the basketball coach. He was like, "I got him football season, but after the season, he's gonna come to you." So I'm like, "All right, cool."
Right.
So me and the basketball coach chop it up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "All right, bet we chop it up." He was like, Coach Jones or whatever. He said, "Y'all ran track." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "All right, let me introduce you to somebody." So I go and meet the track coach. So
Come on,
they
man.
all in the
Come
same
on.
joint, and I'm like, "All right, bet." So they was like, "All right, after basketball, we got you for outdoor track because you can't do indoor." And I'm like, "All right, that's cool."
Yeah.
Like,
Man, anything you put your hands
yeah,
on.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right, that's cool." So
Yeah. That's
I
dope.
leave there, you know what I'm saying, smile on my face, like, "Damn, I got somewhere to go, and I'm gonna play sports." It's something I wanted to do after high school.
Right.
So I ended up graduating high school, 3.5 years or whatever. So that summer, that's where it got rocky.
Yeah.
So turn 18. Boom. Less than 20 days, I ended up going to jail for some robberies and
Right.
some shit for, you know. But it was he say, she say. So it wasn't really like, "Yo, give me your stuff." It was
Yeah.
more so, how do I put this? So I can as I'm gonna say this to my young guys. If the female is involved, leave it alone, brother. Leave it alone. If there's a
Right.
female involved,
Right.
leave it alone. Especially if you got something you want to do in life. Trust me, they gonna come later. Do what you gotta do, stay focused, and leave it alone.
That's right. That's correct.
Just leave it alone. So yeah, I ended up going to jail as a kid. I'm still a kid, considered a kid. I ended up going to jail for that or whatever. And I'm in there. I'm thinking like, yo, next week I'm supposed to be in college.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, when I get out tomorrow, yo, I'm gonna go straight to school and be a straight A student. I'm getting out of here or whatever.
Yeah.
No, sir. Sat me down for 2 months. So in those 2 months, I learned a lot in such a short span of time being in there.
Right.
One is that this is a Commonwealth state. So
Sure.
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a very big deal. That means that people don't have to press charges on you. The Commonwealth can.
Yeah.
And they will sit you in there until they think that, hey man, this brother is good to go wherever, or he's good unless I trap him for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm in there 18 or whatever. Now I'm kind of minding my business, not like a terrible place, but you know, some people have worse things going on in life in there.
Yeah, for sure.
So the experience is terrible, don't get me wrong. It's
not good. It's not good at all.
It's a terrible experience.
Right, yeah, not good at
terrible
all.
experience. And I'm in there and I'm doing a lot of reading and stuff. So when somebody told me about a law library, and they told me I need to go and look up my charges or whatever. At the time, I didn't think it was gonna make a difference if I did it or not, but I end up signing myself up. It's a wait period. The wait is crazy.
Yeah.
The wait period for that is crazy. So I end up going up there and I end up looking up my charges, everything they charged me with. And I said, this is interesting. I can get myself out of this.
Yeah.
At 18, I'm like, I can get myself out of this. Instead of folding and being like, listening to a court-appointed lawyer saying, hey man, the best I can do for you is 6 years. I've seen this before. The best I can do for 6 years.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to for the young people or for the cats that's going through something now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or if you in that position to where you're locked up, you know what I'm saying? get your codes. It's all on your paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Get to that library and look up those codes. See what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
you want to be prepared as well as you don't want them to pull the wool over your eyes.
Right.
Right?
So yeah, like then it was like, all right, so you guys gonna charge me with 2 firearms, but you don't have them on me, right? You charged me of robbery, but you didn't get anything for I didn't have any evidence, but I could have just very well been like, as an 18-year-old kid, I could have just been like, yeah, bro, I did it and whatever. Like, people gonna hold me down, bro. Once you in there by yourself, you in there by yourself.
Man.
Once you in there by yourself. It is no like the visitations, the homies, like you in there and you got to do that time by yourself, whether you want to believe it or not. That's just how it goes, and I think everybody who's been in that position before can say yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they can say yeah. So
Yeah.
like I'm saying, like I went to the law library and I end up looking up these things, and I'm just like, all right, so this is what I'll do. So I end up writing my lawyer a letter because I didn't have couldn't call him or whatever all the time. It was a quarter point lawyer. So I ended up writing her a letter, and it was like, hey man, you guys have this, you guys don't have this, you don't have that, and I have court soon, so this is what I'll take. So I told him, like, since there was an arguing altercation, I'll take a simple assault and that's it.
Right.
Y'all can't get nothing else out of me. That's the only thing I'll plead guilty to. So I ended up going to court and I got what I wanted. But on the flip side, because I got what I wanted and I wanted to go home so bad, I didn't know at the time that I was fighting then a misdemeanor, being a simple assault, versus like, yo, I just got myself out of 4 felonies to just 1 misdemeanor.
Right.
At 18. Like, no, I want to go home. So y'all do whatever y'all got to do. I'll do whatever I need to do. And I'm getting out of there. So that held me back.
Right.
So when I'm applying for jobs or trying to get in school or whatever, the first thing will pop up is these felonies that I didn't get. The misdemeanors never showed up. It was just, yo, this is what he was charged with. And this is what what he was charged with and what he was found guilty of. So that stuff just looked bad.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got 4 felonies. I mean, I was like, oh, bro, you can't get a job here. Like, oh, but I didn't have any felonies. I had a misdemeanor. But if I had known that I could fight a misdemeanor, I would have did it. But I was 18. I was in there for 2 months. I was like, no,
yeah, you can fight. You can fight. Yeah, you can fight anything.
Yeah, like I want to go home. I want to fight McDonald's. I mean, I want to go to McDonald's. I'm tired of this. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
I don't want to. I'm tired of this. But I'm like 18, so whatever. So now I'm like, all right, now I can't get a job, a good paying job. I can't get a job or whatever. And I just go up to Thomas Nelson and I enroll myself. And so that period was rocky, but Donovan Bridgeforth had found me and was like, hey man, you want to play basketball? Because I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm not doing nothing. He was like, yo, you want to play basketball for this AAU team? And I'm 18, so I'm like, Cash is in there and still playing AAU at 21.
Yeah.
How? I don't know. But I'm 18. I'm like, yo, dog, whatever I need to get up out of here and do my thing, yo, I'm with it.
Shout out to him, man.
So I ended up playing for Virginia Venom one of the first years for there.
I remember Venom, yeah.
Virginia Venom, one of the first year. If you go to the website, you can see my name and stuff on it, along with some others that I played with. That at that point was like the turning point of everything going for the better. So I do that, and then I get back in school next year. Cool, they got a basketball team. I'm in there. So I ended up playing for them, averaging 19 for my first season. Next season, I averaged like 16. And I ended up taking a little break, a little hiatus or whatever. And then here come Block again. He was like, yo, are you done with Thomas Nelson? I'm like, nah, I got like a couple more classes. He was like, yo, it's this Division II school being Salem. They're looking for some players. I'm going to introduce you to the assistant head coach. I'm like, all right, bet. So we drive to Richard Bland. Richard Bland having a game and with Lewisburg at the time, they like 5'6" in the country for D1 JUCO. And I meet the coach out there. We're chatting. He was like, yo, I'm going to take his word for you. You ain't got to try out nothing. When signing day comes, I need you to sign, take your videos, pictures, whatever, and send it to me. So I'm thinking like, nah, this dude's capping.
Yeah.
Like, no way is that easy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would have thought the same thing.
I'm like, yo, no way is this easy for
me
to
thought
be
the same thing. I ain't even gonna front.
So I end up going back to Thomas Nelson or whatever. I finish or whatever. I do the signing day joint. And then he's like, yo, just be at school in September and you Gucci.
Mhm.
Man, I got my mom and my girl. I just signed. We got in the car. We went to West Virginia because I had to make sure this was for real.
Yeah, for sure.
So we drove 6 hours to West Virginia. I met the coach, and he was like, "Yeah, Woody did this, that for you." It was Coach Woody. He was like, "Yeah, you good. Just come to school, and you good." And I'm like, "All right, bet."
Yeah.
So I get there. I mean, like this stuff is just like it's unbelievable until I get to the first practice.
Yeah.
Cause it's like we got like a lot of cats there, and you know what I'm saying, they breaking guys off or whatever. And I'm just like, and West Virginia is a whole different, like that's a whole different country to me.
Yeah.
West Virginia in itself is just like a
Yeah.
whole different place.
Was a country right there.
It was nothing I've never seen before.
Yeah.
It was nothing I have never seen before, but I'm grateful for the opportunity.
For sure.
Man, I mean, it's funny. So like, I'll tell you my first night at Salem. Salem is in this little town called Salem. And it's like two, maybe 3 or 4 buildings, maybe 5. And that's the university.
Mhm.
So 2 buildings being the dorms, the 3rd building being the gym, which holds everything. The training center,
Yeah.
the pool or whatever for water polo or whatever. You got the dining hall, and then you got the library that holds the classrooms, and then you have the nursing building. So there may be 6 buildings total. And it's so cold in there. So my first night, I'm in my little dorm or whatever. Got the tile floors and these heavy doors. So the doors slam, boom. I jump up, and I'm like, no way I'm back in jail. No way I'm back in jail, and it sound like this. I'm like, no. But that place, that was like, it was a blessing and a curse because it had those loud doors and tile floors, the brick walls.
It sound like you're right in there.
It sound like you're in there. The nastiest food I've ever had in my life, and I'm just like, but I'm grateful because I got to play basketball.
That's what it is, man.
I kept doing the whole. So my masters, that wasn't the first time I made the dean's list every time I was in Salem, like every year. But those are 3.0s.
Right.
This 4.0 is a big deal because I really locked in for that. The 3.0s is just so I can play basketball and be eligible.
What was your recent one? The recent one that you accomplished.
That was the information and technology management. That was so the master's course was, I think, like, so the master's course is like a year span. So they have, this is how they break it down. So you have 9 core joints that you have to take.
Mhm.
And you have to complete those with a 3.5 or better to go on into your master's course or whatever.
Right.
Of course, you can go in or whatever, but once you complete the course, all your courses or whatever, and it's not up to par, you're gonna have to go back and take those. Right. So I end up smacking the 9 joints with like a 3.6 or a 3.7 or something like that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, cool. And then when I get to the master's course, 4.0, because I'm like, it's 3 classes. Let's do it. Let's get it out the way.
Mhm.
So you get a regular dean's list, and then you get your master's dean list.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? I made both of those, and I'm just like, all right, bet, cool.
Yo, so it sounded like you was locked in, bro.
I was locked in.
Yeah,
I was
sound like
locked
you
in.
were
When I
locked
got
in.
to Salem, when I first got to Salem, I was locked in because I'm like, all right, I'm in a new spot. Let me go ahead and get my bachelor's, play ball, and then go overseas. Right.
Right.
Because I never wanted to go to the NBA. I just wanted to go overseas.
Right.
So I do all that at Salem, and that was tough. That was a different kind of basketball. So what I would say for the young guys that's going to college, especially as freshmen, my team didn't have any freshmen on there. You just had like cats coming from JUCOs and up. We didn't have any freshmen or sophomores on the team. It was just junior and seniors that was on the team. So what I would say from that is like, when you go there, it's not just run and gun and you think you're gonna score 20 points or whatever.
Mhm.
You have to build that IQ, that court IQ, before you even step on the court. It's a lot of pick and rolls. It's a lot of defensive possessions. It's a lot of off ball activity that'll get you on that court to play. So my junior year on the court, I played a lot of like I think I only didn't play one game. I played all games except one, and I was not prepared for it. That was like I was good here,
Right.
but now that I'm going off to college and playing against other people, that it was just a different world. So it was like I had to restart and learn how to play basketball with my mind,
Right. Right.
not physically. I had to learn how
Yeah.
to play basketball with my mind. So going to my senior year, I had a better knowing of the game. So it's the difference between like when they tell you the game is 90% mental,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. You have to know how to read the court. And I played point guard. So that was another difficulty that I had to deal with as a basketball player was going from a shooting guard to a point guard. Never played point guard in my life. But I had to adjust and it took me a year to get there. And once I finally got it or whatever and I was rolling, then I get started, playing a little bit more and having building confidence and stuff like that. And at this point I'm starting I graduate from Salem with the bachelor's. That's a big deal to me at the time. And I'm thinking, yeah, man, I'm about to go overseas and COVID hits.
Right.
COVID hits, so I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to Spain this year. All right, bet. So I have a year to sit here and wait until the next joint. But at that time, I had my daughter, so it wasn't that basketball was over. It was that a new life had started for myself.
There you
So
go.
I kind of like basketball was like it was fun when it.
Yeah, but
I enjoyed it.
It did what it's
It
supposed
did
to
what it
do.
was supposed to do. It got me
Yeah.
everywhere it needed me to be. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I have my daughter. She's 3 now. Intelligent little thing. She run me like it's like being a father. Like definitely changed my life for sure for the better. I'm just like,
Oh yeah, man.
learning. I like
man.
every day is it's like every day is something new with her. It's like it's just learning. And so there's this job I was working for, and this is how I got to the master's course. And I'm telling you, people that don't let other people be the determining factor of what you can do. So I've been working at this place for X amount of years, and I'm well experienced. I got my bachelor's degree or whatever, and you know I'm going for a higher position, a salary position.
Mm-hmm.
And I end up didn't get it. Like I didn't get it. I didn't even get an interview for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I turned in my resume and I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I seen that you had like I'm acknowledging it. And I'm like, wow, y'all didn't give me an interview and y'all hired somebody. Like I go on vacation for a couple days, come back, and they hired somebody, they start. I'm like, wow, I didn't even get an interview for this joint. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm gonna go get my master's and we're gonna cut all this out.
Yeah.
Because my bachelor's degree, not that it doesn't hold any weight, it's for something I no longer had a passion for, which being sports management and recreation or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go get my master's degree in something that I'm really interested in.
Right.
So if you like a lot of my friends, like if you know me, like I like technology. I like figuring stuff out with technology. Like I'm not a gamer or nothing like that, but if your Wi-Fi is down or you know what I'm saying, like your phone's broken or something like that, I like to figure out stuff like that, how to get it going again, working back up to 100%. So I'm like, I'm gonna do information technology because that's something I really like to do. So I ended up doing my master's and I completed it. I got a couple more steps to go, but I mean that's how all that in a nutshell is how I got to this point. It's just like perseverance, dog. Like, and just working towards a goal. And it's like I'm a strong believer in that if you say you can do something, it's really up to you to go do it.
Yep.
Like it's like if you want to go to the NBA, go to the NBA. Don't let this person or that person tell you can't.
Yeah.
It's like I mean that stuff is gonna be there regardless, but like you gotta be your number one fan of whatever you do. Long story short, you gotta be your number one fan of whatever you do. And as long as like you listening to yourself and doing the right thing and taking the right steps, you're gonna get there. I mean, like it's literally the sky is literally the limit for anybody. But no matter what they've been through, it's like you think that it ain't cats in the NBA that went to jail when they was in high school or and stuff
Hey,
like that.
hey,
You know what I'm saying?
but you know, it's like it's crazy because a lot, and I say a lot of I say this a lot sometimes, man, when I'm talking to talking to people, is that man, the talent, man, that's in the system,
Yeah.
man, is definitely overwhelming to see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you know, my brother tell me stories. You know what I'm saying? Just even for being in 143. But you know, I did some research on that before when I was doing recidivism with the faith walkers. But it was just like, man, I couldn't believe it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching documentaries, man. These guys jumping out of the gym, and I know a few stories. I should have had their names down, but they, man, I'm trying to tell you, I'm gonna do one on that. But you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But it's unbelievable how much talent that's in the system.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I mean? So
No, seriously, like man, if I can give out one message to the youth and then and even to those people that are incarcerated or have been incarcerated, like don't let that stuff determine who you are. Like go ahead and be you to the best of your ability. Whatever you need to do, go do it. Like if there's a little bit of chance of you making a difference and changing your life, I take that chance 10 times out of 10. Take the
man,
chance. Like what's the worst that can happen? You already done the worst.
yeah, yeah,
You already
yeah,
been through the worst. You
yeah.
can't go nowhere but up.
All right, man. So just you know what I mean. I mean, it was real dope, man. Man, big shouts out to Shawon, man. And look, and just throw some little fun out there, man. I know last time I had asked you about a few sports, but I ain't gonna do it this time. What I'm gonna do, because it was too easy. But you know what I'm saying, we talk about, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like the players, you look at, you know, job back, you know what I'm saying, and he, when the first game back, he made a hell of a statement.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? He made a hell of a statement. Like, you
John
know what I'm
Wick.
saying? So so do you think, man, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, when it's that type of talent, man, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know what I mean? Do you think he grasped anything, like, you know what I'm saying, like how what he did? Do you think, like, you know what I mean, that he understands, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
what he really means to the culture?
yeah. What I think is Ja was young, man. Like he's still young.
Yeah, he's young.
And like he probably don't really know that well at the time he probably didn't realize that like because I'm a franchise player, I'm not untouchable.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but in a sense, it was just like, yo, I'm just doing what everybody does every day
Yeah.
and don't get fined for it or don't get suspended for it or what I'm just doing everyday things that I see on the internet. And
Right.
it's like they kind of putting like a cap on him. But I think now Ja definitely knows like this is the stuff that I can't do because I'm on this platform.
That's what I'm
There's
saying. Like it's a
yeah,
job. It's,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
if you go any job you go to, you know, you got rules and regulations you got to go by. You know what
right,
I'm saying. If I'm late fucking 110 times in the last 30 days, I'm gonna get fired.
right.
You know what I mean. So,
Yeah, I
but
think
the players of his
it
magnitude
was
though.
yeah, and he got to come back. So I think with most cases, even without it being giant, it's like, all right, how many chances do I need until I have to get it right?
Right, right,
You know what I'm saying? Or this is gonna happen. So they suspended me already. Now they suspended me for longer. Now look at where my team is.
right,
We're like not 8-22.
right.
And I gotta dig us out of that to get us.
Man,
And it's my fault that we're here.
yeah,
And I gotta dig us out of that to one like this is like yo his job could be on the line, very well be on the line, like yo you're not making us, like why we paying you all this money and you're not getting us nowhere and then you doing this that and the third. So I definitely think he learned from
yeah. I don't think it's. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. That his job is not on that line.
it. No, I'm just saying
But
like in a sense like that's how you have to be thinking, like yo my job could, like not his job is on the line but like that guaranteed
yeah,
money
yeah, yeah.
is
See,
like
he
yo
missed that anyway because they get the super max anyway.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I can't get that. You
yeah.
know what I'm
You can't get
saying?
the
Like
super max.
now it's like, yo, I'm out because of my ignorance. Like you know what I'm
It's
saying?
almost
Like,
forcing them to get, man. You get
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, get
So I
right.
mean, I know. I think he gonna continue to make a statement, and eventually, he could very well like be the face of the league after.
All right. So one more question before we get out of here, brother. So what is the difference between what Ja did and what Mickey did? You know, the what's his name? Mickey Williams?
Oh, Mikey Williams.
Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams.
Mikey Williams.
Mikey
Didn't
Williams.
Mikey Williams actually shoot at people?
Oh, did he shoot at him? I think he did.
I
I
think
got it on. I got it on here.
I think Mikey was.
Yeah, I think he did. He did shoot at him, but as money wise, well, there you go. It's a fact. He did shoot at him. So,
that's the difference.
but I mean, the difference is, I mean, what I'm saying in money wise, you know what I'm saying? Like he's doing it before he even get to his bag. I know he had
Yeah.
endorsement deals.
Yeah, he had
He
endorsements.
had endorsement deals, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, it's almost like the same thing almost. You know what I'm saying? Besides, he didn't shoot. He shot at somebody. Marine had the gun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, now I don't think Mickey ain't gonna get the shot. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not proven yet.
It's that's I think Mikey is gonna have a shot at it simply because he's what 18, and now if he
You don't
wasn't,
think that's gonna ride with him? You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean it may, but like if he tries to go to the NBA next year, then it's curtains for him.
Yeah.
But I think if you know, he develop himself as a player and do what he's supposed to do for the next 3 to 4 years, then yeah, he could go to the league. Like if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and like putting that stuff behind you or whatever and showing them that you put it behind you and it's just basketball from here on out or whatever, and you're doing the right things you're supposed to do, yeah, I think he's gonna go somewhere for sure.
That's what it do, man. They say, yo, man, big shouts out to Shawon, man. You already know what time it is, man. Big shouts out. And look, man, and I just want to put this out here, man, real quick, man. You know, the kids, man, you know, we go through a lot of adversity, man, when we're young, man. We make mistakes and we go through these things, man, go through the court system, but don't ever give up. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever give up. We don't do no giving up. Get back on it, man. Get your focus back on there, man, because a man Shawan, man, he's definitely, you know what I'm saying, definitely understand about getting back up and getting back on the grind and do what you got to do. And sometimes it ain't all about the NBA, it's about getting your education. So use the talent that you have to get to where you got to go. You know, if you got it, do it. If you're smart, you don't need basketball. You're smart. Keep doing your thing. So I just want to
Facts.
I just want to keep that up on keep y'all up on game on that, and let's go, man. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.
Hey, one more thing before we
Shoot it,
bounce.
cuz.
I got my clothing line coming
Oh,
back out,
yeah.
and it's earlier than expected. So
Yeah, cause I ain't mentioned it, but that's on me. What you
yeah,
got? Let's
um,
show us some love
um,
with that. What's good with that?
Black Prime gear. That's something I made a couple years back. That's my clothing brand or whatever, and things went up sooner than expected. So yeah, it'll be out within the next 2 months. I got something cooking up, and yeah, it's gonna be real nice, real different. It's gonna be
Okay,
real different.
okay, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, so Black Prime, man, come on, Black Prime girl. That's your one force, man. And yo, yeah, everybody have a blessed night, man, and keep God in your spirit, in your life. You know, so yeah, peace.